Hi, my name is Rosalie Desmond and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Melbourne, Australia. Today I'm bringing you the latest in the Christmas Challenge 2019. Now this month our theme is to use non-traditional colours, which works out absolutely perfectly for me because this is the wrapping paper that I'm using for my Christmas presents and for my Christmas tree this year. So to go with this, I'm using, for my purple, I'm using Highland Heather, and for the green, I'm using Mint Macaron. And then adding some silver, just like my paper, and some Whisper White. So knowing that this was my Christmas theme colours this year, I picked out this gorgeous paper out of the catalogue. So the paper is called Feels Like Frost. And on one side of the papers we've got these beautiful wintry images, which in Australia we have summer over Christmas, but I still think these are absolutely stunning. And they just match my colours quite nicely. So on one side we've got all of these beautiful photographs, and then on the other side we've got some lovely silver and white images. So some of these are snowy, some of these are foliage. There's a little bit of a mix there. We've got some polka dots and some more foliage. So I bought those to match my theme. Now the other thing I purchased out of the holiday catalogue, which is coming up, is this gorgeous silver ink. And as you can see, I've used it on for my sentiment on here. And then also on the other side, I've used these pine cones, and using the Mint Macaron, I've used the leaves. So the stamps that I've used this time is Peaceful Boughs, and in this set we've got a couple of sentiments. We've got Season's Greetings, which I've used for my tags, and May the Spirit of Peace gently fill your heart and home in the most wonderful time of the year. Now I'll be using that on some of my cards that I'll be making later. But just to get a start, I'm already starting to wrap some of my presents, so I need my tags happening. Now with this set we actually have some matching dies. So we've got foliage dies here, we've got our pine cones, and then we just have a couple of cutouts that fit our sentiment perfectly. So I've used this little one here for our Season's Greeting. Anyway, I have so many of these tags to do that I really need to get started now. So for each tag, I've used a piece of Highland Heather, which is cut at 9 centimetres by 8 centimetres. Then I have a piece of Whisper White, which is cut 8 centimetres by 7 centimetres. Then I've used a piece of the Designer Series paper, and I've cut this at 7.5 centimetres by 6.5 centimetres, and I've layered that up. And then on the reverse side, I have another piece of Whisper White, which is also cut at 8 centimetres by 7 centimetres, and I've done my stamping on that. And then for my sentiment, I've just used a scrap piece of Whisper White. So I'm going to get stuck into this. Now these are very, very quick to pop together. So using my silver ink, I'm going to create, so I'm just going to do the back of my tag. Now the pine cones are in 2 different sizes. So I've done one size, the large one down the bottom and the smaller one up the top, but it really doesn't matter how you do it. And then using the Season's Greetings, just going to pop that down. Now I'm allowing for my sentiment to be cut out. Now one of the things about the silver ink is it does take a little bit of time to dry. So while I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm going to go over, perhaps if I have the right things, I'm going to go over to my Big Shot and I'm just going to cut out some random bits of foliage. And the foliage I've cut out of mint macaron and I've popped it behind my sentiment. So I'm just going to cut out a whole ton of those and I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so I'm going to cut out my sentiment in the Big Shot and I will return momentarily. Okay, I'm going to work on the front. So because I'm got to make a whole heap of these later, I've, just cut out random bits of foliage and I'll just work from there. So what I'm wanting is I'm just wanting a little bit down the bottom, a little bit up the top, and then I'm just simply placing this above. So each one of these are going to look a little bit different and I'm absolutely happy with that. Both my husband and myself come from large families, so we've usually got a lot of presents that we have to sort out for different people, which means I've got a whole ton of tags that I need to make as well. Okay, I'm grabbing a dimensional and I'm going to chop it in half because I don't really need that much. Now just make sure if you're using the silver ink or any of the metallic inks that you just give it a little bit of time to dry, or you can actually dry it faster using your heat gun. You just put it in your heat setting instead of your embossing setting. Okay, so that's the front of the card done. And grabbing the mint macaron and one of the foliage images. It's going to pop a bit here. And then I liked having it a little bit lighter, so I've stamped off and then popped a little bit more greenery there. So 1 part's full strength, I ink it up, take the ink off and then pop that down, and it just gives me a slightly lighter look. And then I just glue this on. And pop it on the back of my tag. So very quick and easy. Okay, now I need a way to attach these to my present, so I'm going to be using the metallic edged ribbon, which is in Whisper White and Silver, which will match everything. I'm using my piercing mat and my piercing tool, and I need to make a bit of a hole. Now you can also use a hole punch, which would probably be much easier. I just don't own one. I own so many things, but a hole punch isn't. A hole punch isn't one of the things that I own at the moment. I'll really have to do something about that. Because it would make this heaps and heaps easier. The other alternative that you could do is you could actually make this into just a little card, and you could do your writing in the centre instead of on the back, which is what I've done. Okay, it's mangled the edge of my ribbon, so I'll definitely be looking into getting a hole punch. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sticky tape that down onto my present, wherever my present is. So just tape this down onto my present just like this. And it's done. Okay, so that's the tag for this month's Christmas challenge. Now, if you'd like to play along with Ruth, Denise, Ellen and myself, we would love to have you join the Christmas Challenge Facebook group. Every theme we have a different month, and at the end of the year we're going to randomly choose someone that's been entering so they can win a prize. Anyway, until next time, happy crafting!